Hi friends, nice to see you in my new chess video, and in this video I want to review one interesting game between Efim Bogoljubov and fourth world champions Alexander Alekhine for black. Okay, let me show you this game. So Bogoljubov played d4 and Alekhine replied f5. f5 is a Dutch defense. Of course it was very risky defense that rarely used in tournaments in grandmaster level, but also of course it's playable. Okay, let me show you some more moves faster, and also I like this idea by Alexander Alekhine. Of course he can play d5 and next c6 and it's stone wall dodge. Let me show you some more moves. For example, d5, knight c3, c6 and standard stone wall dodge position, but also modern variation of this opening is bishop b4. So bishop b4, bishop d2, take on d2, take on d2, also queen d2 is possible, but knight d2 is okay, and knight c6, and then he played castle, and d6, and maybe in some moment Alekhine wants to play e5. Okay, queen b3, king h8, because he don't want to go to this diagonal. Of course some pins we can see, queen c3 and then e5. Of course e5 is the main idea for black in this position. e3 and also d takes e5 is possible, but after d takes e5 of course white cannot take on e5 twice because of knight d2. Knight d2 is hanging in the end. But d takes e5 is possible, and maybe in this position he can play some moves like rook a to d1, rook f to d1, maybe e3 and so on. Position is equal. But e3 also possible. Let me show you some more moves. And queen e8, also very standard idea in Dutch defense and some others opening when we played f5. So after f5 our idea is to play queen 8 and then queen h5, maybe f4, and we want to attack white king. a3, queen h5 and h4. h4 maybe not the best move, but it's a good defensive move because in some moment black wants to play f4 and bishop hd. Now bishop hd is not possible. Okay, knight g4, knight g5, bishop d7, f3, knight f6, f4, e4, and then h6, knight h3, and d5. So at first Alekhine wants to stabilize position in center, and maybe in the future he wants to attack in a king side. Okay, let me show you some more move faster. And interesting idea, knight e7 and then knight c6. Of course knight c6 move with idea to play knight b4 in the future, because now we has this good square, and white of course cannot attack our knight on b4 with a pawn. Okay, let me show you some more moves. d takes c4 and then simply bishop a4. So now Alekhine won a pawn. Okay, but let me show you some more moves. b5, knight d3, of course knight d3 very good square for black knight, rook a5 and b4, and then forced variation, rook a8 and not queen a8. Of course queen a8 also possible, but Alekhine's idea is to play b take c3, rook e8 and c2. c2 I like this move because after rook f8 and king h7, of course white cannot defend both move d1 and c1, and our idea is to take on d1 with the queen and maybe c1 with the queen too. So of course we want to promote our pawn. So knight f2, only one good move now for white. And now after some forced variation, we can see that black has queen against two rooks and a pawn, but of course we can see that this position for white is not so good, because white has very bad development of these pieces. And then queen c4, simply taking this pawn, bishop b5. Our idea is to checkmate on f1, that's why white should capture on b5 and g4. Only opportunity is to extend the resistance, but black responds with a new surprise. Knight f3 check, bishop f3, e takes f3, g takes f5 is forced, and then queen e2. And we have some ideas. For example, we want to play in some moment knight g4. Not now, but maybe in the future. d5 and king g8, very good prophylactics for black. Then h5 and king h7. I like also this maneuver for black. e4 and simply take on e4, take on e4, queen e4. So now queen against rook and bishop for black, but of course this pawn's very weak, and also he has very strong pawn on f3. Okay, let me show you some more moves. d6, simply take, f6 also take, rook d2 and queen e2. And of course after take, we want to take on f1, and of course we want to play e1 with the queen. So queen again f2 is forced, but then take on f1, and this pawn end game is easily winning for black. And in this position, after king e4 and d5, white surrendered, and let me show you why white resigned. So after king d4, we can simply play king f5, then take on d5, take on f4, and then after king e6, simply king g5, and of course it's easy win for black. And now we can take on h5, and also f5 is a good move. Let me show you some more moves, for example like this, and of course it's winning position for black. Maybe not ideal game for white, not ideal play now, but of course it's completely winning position. And next we have extra queen. So very good and sharp game by Alexander Alekhine. And also, if you also like to play Dutch defense, you can use this game and use all of these ideas. So I hope that you like my video. Goodbye and see you next time.